Steve and Jill here.
Hello.
Welcome to the House Academy Show, entertaining real estate investment talk. I'm Stephen Jack Butella.
And I'm Jill DeWitt, broadcasting from sunny Southern California.
Today, Jill and I talk about what is equitable title.
What is equitable title?
Equitable title is a financial interest in the property, but not a legal interest. The easiest way to explain it, and I'll get into great detail later here after the question, is a mortgage on a house. You own the house. You're on the title. You're the legal owner of the house, but the bank's got equitable title in case you stop paying. Then equitable title and financial interest are often used interchangeably, but we'll get into it.
Well, we're done now, aren't we?
We could be.
We
could be. If you have other
Thanks
stuff,
for listening.
If you have other stuff to do today, you're all set.
You can go now.
Because we don't.
Yeah.
We don't have anything else to do
Nope.
today, Jill and I, and
Nothing.
this is what we're supposed to do today.
Thank you.
Before we get into it, let's take a question posted by one of our members on the houseacademy.com online community. It's free.
Jeff asks, do you ever buy a house without title insurance or use a self-close like with land? It's a great, great question. The answer is no.
That's my answer too.
You could. I mean, that's what's so crazy. People go, wait, right. I'm sure people are like, irk, hitting the brakes right now. Seriously, like, what do you mean self-close and buy a house? I mean, technically, you kind of could.
You could.
You have a beautiful cabin in the woods, and it's tempting because what if you've got a beautiful cabin way out in the woods and this, on a piece of property that you really only get $5,000 for it, kind of thing. So it makes you think, going, why would I even do the title insurance? Because I'm only buying it for $5,000. That's going to add another $2,000 to the whole thing. But we just don't want to do it that way, especially with the way we are buying and selling, because we're not the end user.
Yeah.
I would only consider it if I was going to be the end user and it's a silly little cabin that's falling down anyway, and I'm only going to go out there and camp and hunt and maybe use the outhouse. But that's what's interesting. People don't know that you can do that, but we don't, and I don't recommend that.
There's some basic rules we have around the office about self-closing. Number one is the property is not worth, and we're not paying more than $5,000. These are loose rules.
Right.
They're not hard and fast rules.
Right.
Number two, and I have self-closed houses in the past before Jill, because they were so untenantable that they weren't financeable.
Right.
So the property is in such bad shape in the current condition. You're literally paying $500 to $1,000 for it. There's no chance you're going to get a loan, or the person that you're going to sell it to is going to get a loan. But even now, I think if I had to go back, I probably would close with title, because you're breaking the chain. Let's just be honest here. You're breaking the chain of title. So on an invaluable piece of dirt, on a piece of land that's not that valuable, this is fine. You do it all the time. It's very regular for us to do it. Houses, no.
Well, and the thing about land, too, is so many of the transactions up until us, let's just say, were all done maybe self-close. And it's not that big deal. But now you're going to say, now I'm buying a piece of dirt, real vacant land, because now I'm going to finally build on it. Now I need title insurance because now something's going to happen. And you're usually borrowing the money to fund whatever you're going to build, and they're going to require it.
If you're paying $1,000 for a piece of dirt, you're going to add almost $2,000 in title fees. So now your acquisition cost on a $1,000 piece of land is $3,000. Doesn't make sense.
Right.
Today's topic: what is equitable title?
We're all about title today.
This is why you're listening. Equitable title, like I said, the greatest example is a mortgage company, but here's how we use equitable title. There's an adverse possession. You cannot adversely foreclose on a piece of property or go through judicial or administrative foreclosure unless you have equitable title. And how do you get equitable title then? Well, there's lots of ways. You can buy a tax lien. And now you have a financial interest in the property. And if the statutes are all lined up against that, you can go through a judicial foreclosure action, hopefully after you try to contact the owner and you really want to just work it out with them. The way, when we talk about optioning, that's equitable title. And now you have equitable title. Here's an example of how some of our members very successfully wholesale houses. Hey, seller, I'd like to buy your house for $100,000. Yeah, buyer, it's $100 grand's not going to work, but I'll tell you what, 120 will. I'll tell you, seller, I can do 110, but I'm going to have to do an option on it because it's just too much cash for me to come up with. But I think I do have a buyer at 140. So if 110 works, what do you say we sign this option here? And then I'll go contact my guy. And if 110 works for you, then we'll put the whole thing together. That's equitable title once he signs that. You have a financial interest in the property and you're able to make decisions.
And you're not representing him, by the way.
That's right.
Too. That's an important thing.
You don't need
to
a
know.
license
You don't
for
need a
any of
license.
this.
Right.
So equitable title can be very, very powerful. You know, all this business about buying and selling notes, it's the same thing as a mortgage. So what you're doing is you're buying. There's all these non-performing mortgages out there on the internet, or not notes. Let's say just call them private loans. You go and buy this note or this mortgage or whatever they call it. They're all synonymous. They're all the same thing. Mm-hmm. You got a $100,000 house. Somebody might be living in it. And a guy's selling the note on the house that he's been carrying. It's non-performing. Nobody's paying anymore. The renter or the owner's not paying any longer. And he sells you the note for $40,000. Why would he sell you a $100,000? He's not selling you the house.
Right.
He's selling you a note for 60% less than the thing's worth because he doesn't want to go through the foreclosure action and go through all this stuff and get it back, clean it up, and get it back rented and all that. For him, that inconvenience in the business that he's in, that's not. He's just a paper shuffler. You can make a fortune with equitable title. And it's very, very prevalent in house investing. And then that's the show. I had trouble.
What do you mean you
Are
have
we
trouble?
talking about land? Are we talking about houses? This is the house show. I need a new shirt.
We're going to have to put something up here.
I need like a House Academy
I'm
shirt.
going to have to like turn this mug around so you don't see that. I'm going to have to, it's house day, Stephen. Put on the different hat.
If you go look on the internet and look up which states are tax lien states, that's what tax liens are. Tax liens are you slipping your foot in the door on a property to get equitable title so that you can make some decisions. And again, hopefully this is all after you've tried to contact, the vast majority of tax lien investing and note investing centers around dead people. Mm-hmm. When you just are trying like heck to contact these people, skip tracing them, whatever, you just can't get a hold of them. The only thing you can do is start a foreclosure action or an adverse possession action in the hopes that that'll get their attention. Right. And that doesn't even get their attention.
Right.
They're dead.
Exactly.
And then they don't care. Maybe they do.
Slipping your foot in the door. They were saying slipping on the banana peel or something. Like, what are you talking about? What's interesting is people get so hung up on this term. And they think it's a big deal. Like it's for not. Some reason, it's a mystery term. It's not that big of a deal. I mean, you just need to know what it is. And now you know. You either have equitable title or legal title or hopefully both.
Yeah.
You really want both.
If you own a piece of property, you have both.
Yeah.
You know who's perpetually got equitable title in your property? The government. Because you pay taxes. If you don't pay their taxes, they immediately have equitable title without doing anything.
You don't even know
just
that.
By default.
Yep. It's just because you live here.
Think about that.
It's pretty amazing, isn't it?
Yeah, it's awful.
I know.
But that's a different show.
Okay.
That's the Jack and Jill show that's coming up.
Oh, gosh. Just rant about life?
Just anything.
Okay.
Yeah. How the government doesn't know what they're doing.
Okay.
Look, she shuts me down on this show.
No.
On the next show, on the Jack and Jill show, which we're going to release next month. It's going to be, I can't wait to talk about this kind of stuff with you.
Okay.
We're going to talk about Jill stuff too.
Yeah, thanks. All right.
We're going to have a little bit of some rants too. Probably lose all of our regular Land Academy and House Academy partners. Well, you've done it again. Spend another 15 minutes or so listening to the House Academy show. Join us next time for the episode called The Right and the Wrong Way to Build a Relationship with the Seller.
And we answer your questions posted on our online community at houseacademy.com. It is free.
You are not alone in your real estate ambition.
That's funny.
Equitable title is like, there's so much stupid stuff and that you don't need to know.
Right.
That just gets jammed into your brain about all kinds of stuff in life. Equitable title is actually really important.
It is. Just as long as you know what it is. It's like looking at a closing packet for a property. There's so much jargon and jumble and junk in there.
Yeah.
as long as you know what you're doing and these terms, so much of that is just fluff.
Yeah,
It's amazing.
exactly.
Wherever you're watching, wherever you are listening, please subscribe and rate us there.
We are Steve and Jill.
and
Information
inspiration.
to buy undervalued property.